Most people who invest $500 a month will never reach $2 million. Not because the math does not work. The math absolutely works. But because they are making one specific mistake that quietly cuts their final number in half, sometimes more, without ever showing up as an obvious error on any single statement or in any single month. It is a mistake that the financial industry never corrects because correcting it would cost them money. And it is a mistake that the vast majority of everyday investors repeat for decades without realizing what it is costing them. This video is about that mistake and about the method that eliminates it completely. The method that actually turns $500 a month into $2 million over time, the way the math promises it will. Here is the proof that $500 a month becomes $2 million. At the S&P 500's historical average return of 10% annually, $500 per month invested consistently for 35 years grows to approximately $1.98 million. Round that up and the title is accurate. The math is real, but here is what almost nobody talks about. That 10% return is the gross return. Before fees, before taxes, before the behavioural mistakes that reduce what the average investor actually captures from the market. Dalbar, a financial research firm, has tracked the actual returns of average equity investors for decades. Their findings are striking. Over a 20-year period ending in 2022, the S&P 500 returned approximately 9.8% annually. The average equity investor captured just 6.8% annually over the same period. 3 full percentage points less, not from bad investments, not from bad luck, but from the behavioural and structural mistakes that compound against investors just as relentlessly as returns compound for them. At 6.8% instead of 9.8%, that same $500 per month over 35 years does not become $2 million. It becomes approximately $980,000. The same contribution, the same time period, half the result. That gap, $1 million lost from one category of mistakes, is what this video is about. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly what those mistakes are, why they are so easy to make, and the specific method that eliminates them. So your compounding actually delivers what the math promises. So make sure to stay until the end, leave a like, and let's start. The first and most costly mistake is what behavioural economists call performance chasing, moving money toward whatever has performed best recently and away from whatever has underperformed. It feels rational. If one fund returned 18% last year and another returned 4%, it seems obvious to put more money in the 18% fund. But here is the pattern that decades of data reveal with almost no exceptions. The assets that perform best in any given period tend to revert toward average in the following period. The investor who moves money into last year's winner almost always buys at or near the peak, and then rides the reversion back down. A 41-year-old nurse had been investing in index funds consistently for 6 years when the technology sector produced 3 consecutive years of exceptional returns. She moved 60% of her portfolio into a technology-focused fund. Over the next 2 years, that sector corrected sharply. Her overall portfolio lost 22%, while a simple total market index fund lost 8% over the same period. She did not make a reckless decision. She made a completely understandable one, and it cost her approximately $34,000 in portfolio value and set her compounding timeline back by nearly 3 years. The method that prevents this mistake is also the simplest possible investment structure, a broad total market index fund that owns everything. When you own the entire market, there is nothing to chase and nothing to flee. The best performing sectors are already in your portfolio. The underperforming ones are a small enough allocation that they cannot damage the whole. Performance chasing becomes structurally impossible. The second mistake is fee drag, and it is the one that the financial industry has the strongest incentive to keep investors from understanding clearly. The difference between a fund charging 0.03% annually and a fund charging 1% annually sounds trivial. It is not. On a $200,000 portfolio, that 0.97% difference costs approximately $1,940 per year. But that $1,940 is not just money paid in fees, it is money that is no longer compounding. Over 20 years, That seemingly small annual difference compounds into approximately $140,000 in lost wealth. From 1 percentage point of fees on one portfolio, the actively managed funds that charge 1% or more have another problem on top of the fee. Study after study, covering decades of data across virtually every market, reaches the same conclusion. The overwhelming majority of actively managed funds underperform their benchmark index over any period longer than 5 years. After fees, the investor paying more for active management is almost always getting less in return. The method is simple. Own the index, pay the lowest possible fee. Vanguard, Fidelity, and Schwab all offer broad market index funds with expense ratios below 0.05%. That is the structural decision that removes fee drag from the equation entirely. The third mistake is the one Dalbar's data captures most clearly: interruption, selling during market downturns and buying back in after the recovery. It feels like risk management. It is the single most expensive behavioural pattern in investing history. Here is the concrete math. The S&P 500's best trading days and worst trading days cluster together. They happen in the same volatile periods, during crashes and recoveries. An investor who misses just the 10 best trading days in a 20-year period cuts their total return roughly in half. Not by 10%, not by 20%, in half. And those 10 days are almost impossible to predict. They happen without warning, often in the middle of the worst news cycles, when everything feels most dangerous and selling feels most justified. A 38-year-old accountant started investing in 2005 and held consistently through two of the worst market crashes in modern history, 2008 and 2020. He did not sell in October 2008 when his portfolio had lost 40%. He did not sell in March 2020 when markets dropped 34% in 5 weeks. He automated his contributions and stopped checking his portfolio during both periods. By 2024, his portfolio had grown to $410,000 from total contributions of $187,000. The market had added $223,000 on top of what he put in. He captured nearly the full historical return because he never interrupted the compounding. That discipline was not extraordinary. He simply understood that the bad days are part of the process, not a signal to exit it. The fourth mistake is the one almost nobody discusses: tax drag on compounding. Every dollar paid in taxes on investment gains is a dollar that stops compounding immediately. In a taxable brokerage account, dividends are taxed in the year they are received. Capital gains are taxed when positions are sold. For an investor with a 22% federal tax rate, every dollar of investment income immediately loses 22 cents before it can be reinvested. Over decades, that drag compounds against the investor just as powerfully as returns compound for them. The method that eliminates tax drag is using tax-advantaged accounts to their maximum before investing a single dollar in a taxable account. A 401k contribution reduces taxable income today. A Roth IRA contribution eliminates taxes on all future growth permanently. An investor who maxes both accounts, $23,500 in a 401k and $7,000 in a Roth IRA in 2026, is compounding $30,500 per year, completely shielded from annual tax drag. That structural decision, made consistently over 20 years, produces dramatically more wealth than the same contribution in a taxable account. Not because of higher returns, but because every dollar stays in the compounding machine without being reduced by taxes along the way. Here is what the method actually looks like when all four mistakes are eliminated simultaneously. Broad total market index fund. Expense ratio below 0.05%. Tax-advantaged accounts used to their maximum. Automated contributions that run regardless of market conditions. No performance chasing. No rebalancing into last year's winner. No selling during downturns. This is not a sophisticated strategy. It is the absence of the mistakes that cost the average investor 3 percentage points of annual return. And 3 percentage points of annual return, compounded over 35 years on $500 per month, is the difference between $980,000 and $2 million. The method that turns $500 a month into $2 million is not a secret. It is not used exclusively by the wealthy. It is available to anyone with a brokerage account and the understanding of what actually drives long-term compounding outcomes. What separates the investors who reach $2 million from the ones who reach half that is not income. It is not intelligence. It is the discipline to do the boring thing, the structurally correct thing, every single month for decades, without letting the noise of markets, fees, or emotions interrupt what the math is quietly building. Most people will read about fee drag, nod along, and keep their high-cost actively managed fund because switching feels complicated. Most people will understand behavioural compounding errors intellectually and still sell the next time markets drop 20%. But the investors who actually reach $2 million, the ones who let the math do what the math promises, are the ones who built a system designed to prevent those mistakes before they happen, not through willpower, through structure. Share this with someone who is investing $500 a month and does not yet understand why their final number might be half of what it should be. And watch the next video on screen. We already broke down why compounding feels slow at first and then suddenly explodes, and that pattern is exactly what this method is designed to reach.